What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Talk About Sports with Jake. Hope we're all doing well. So, gonna continue with my NFL All-Season Series eventually today, but start off some small moves that happened just across sports. Unfortunately, we're in the death zone of sports where there's just nothing on besides baseball. Football's in the off-season, but camp hasn't even started yet, so there's no interesting storylines. Basketball recently ended, free agency just ended, so there's nothing going on. Same thing with hockey, so that there's just nothing going on. How, if not that I cover another show, besides the one conversation I had with Justin last week, but the World Cup just ended too. So there's nothing. Even hell golf, which I cover occasionally, we just had the Opens now. Between now and the the Presidents Cup in September, it's not much to cover for that either. But the Dodgers make a small trade with the Colorado Rockies. They get Seth Halverson, a reliever from the Rockies. They send two minor leaguers, right-handed pitcher Nick Frost with outfielder Landon Vidoric. Kind of a nothing move, but I'm just here to say if Dodgers fix this scrub, I'm done. I'm done if they fix this guy. Uh, Halverson was a 30th round pick in 2018 out of Minnesota. Actually, he was technically drafted three times. He didn't sign multiple times. He ends up seventh round pick in 23 draft at the University of Tennessee. As a reliever in his rookie year in 24, I'm not even sure if it's counted as a season, actually. I definitely didn't. 12 and third in 2024 at a 1.46 ERA. Last year in 42 games, 39 and two thirds, had the ERA just about five. This year in 21 games, 19 innings, pitches the ERA 4.74. So he has not been good in 75 career games out of the bullpen across parts of three seasons. He's got a 4.31 career ERA. His whip for his career in that time is 1.53, almost 1.54, which is not good. But he is still 26 years old, so I guess you never know. Don't give up much. You give up Nick Frost, who's a right-handed pitcher, has not been good this year. Last year was in AAA for the Dodgers, 43 games and seven starts, had an ERA of almost 5.5. This year in 21 games, just one start, 4.74 ERA. He's already 27, so he's just not good. He isn't good. He goes to Colorado, and then they get a outfielder in Landon Vidoric, who was the Dodgers' third round pick just a year ago out of Cincinnati, University of Cincinnati. This year between low A and rookie ball, it's hitting just 176. Has a 340 on base, but hitting just 176. He was uh, very briefly in rookie ball for a couple of games since getting to low A, which has been most of the year. He's been a train wreck in 206 at bats in low A. He's hitting 170 at the 643 OPS. Though he is still just 22 years old. Was only drafted a year ago, so maybe he could become something, but so far there's no indication that he will. I'm saying if the Dodgers give up two minor leaguers that are probably never played in the major leagues and get a good reliever out of it, I'm done. I'm done. We have a small signing in basketball. The Lakers signed Matisse Thybulle. They re-signed him for a year for 3.3 million. I think it's a fine signing. He's a very good defender to have on your bench. Lakers need more point of attack defenders. Thybulle can do that for the second unit, so they bring him in on a 1 year deal. We had a couple of extensions in the NFL. We had the Packers extend Devontae Wyatt on a 3 year extension worth $57 million and a plus a $20 million signing bonus. You remember when Quay Walker a couple of years ago, he pushed that trainer during a timeout during an NFL game. It was right after the Damar Hamlin incident a couple of years ago. Before that, Devontae White also put his hands on the trainer very, very lightly. So I've never been a fan of him, but he's a decent player. Been hurt a bunch. He missed 7 games last year, missed for three the year before, but he's had 4 sacks, 27 tackles, two pass defenses. He's a solid defensive tackle. The Packers locked down. Gotta lock down the young pieces that you have. Packers been trying to do that for a bunch of years now. And the Dolphins extend Jordan Brooks a 3 year, $51.3 million deal, including $35 million guaranteed. Jordan Brooks, to me, is one of the more underrated players in the league. He plays every game. I was in Seattle for his first 4 years, signed in Miami 2 years ago. Last year was first team All Pro. He led the league of 183 tackles. That was his second season being having over 180 tackles. Outside of his rookie year, he has had over 110 tackles every single year. Last year led the league of 183 tackles. Also had three pass defenses, a forced fumble, a fumble recovery, and 3.5 sacks. Jordan Brooks is one of the premier linebackers in the sport for sure. Unfortunately, he has been on some bad Dolphins teams these last couple of years, so he has not gotten the attention that he deserves. But he's a very good player. I'm trying to pull up his PFF page to get his coverage marks as well, and he overall grades out very well in that aspect as well. He's just one of the most complete linebackers in in entire sport. I'd argue top five linebacker in football ish, at least top seven. And Dolphins lock him down for 3 years. He's still in his prime. He is still just 28 years old. He's a guy, as you know, obviously the Dolphins are going to a massive rebuild. They've sold off a lot of pieces the last couple of years, or I guess over this last year. And but Brooks is a guy they want to keep around. I think that is the right decision. Last little thing I'll talk about. Just going to hockey real quick. The Dallas Stars avoid arbitration with Jason Robinson. Give him a 1 year deal. They'll pay him $12 million. He is eligible to be extended starting January 1st, which will be right in the middle this coming season. Jason Robinson is still only going to be 27 years old, but coming in one of the best players in all of hockey. I was shocked he was off the Olympic team. Last year had 45 goals and 96 points. He had back-to-back 80-point years the 2 years prior. Had 46 goals and 109 points in 2023. He's been an MVP candidate for multiple years. One of the at least 10 best players in all of hockey. It's being a second round pick in 2017 by the Dallas Stars. Finished second in Rookie of the Year voting in 2021, and he's been one of the best players in the league over the last 5 seasons, 5 or 6 years for Dallas, which just makes this year a big year for the Dallas Stars. You went to what, 3 or 4 straight conference finals? You've been to a cup final. Haven't been able to go over the hump. This past year, you lose what, the first or second round. If they are, not contending come the deadline, he's the guy that's going to obviously garner a lot of interest if he's not extended. So I would jump around that extension, even though it's going to cost a ton, because he's absolutely worth it. Because he's easily one of the 10 best players in all of the National Hockey League. To finish off today, as I introduced the show today, NFC South gonna predict the over/under and the division standings as training camp is right around the corner. NFC South is kind of a disaster as every year. There's this division every year. I feel like since I've been born at this point, I looked at it and go, is there one team that's going to win 10 games in this division? I'm not so sure. Last year we had every single team win uh, less than 9 games. The division winner was the Carolina Panthers. They went 8-9. The Falcons finished tied for first despite being eliminated from the playoffs 3 weeks ago in the season. The Saints had the best record in the division over the last 8 weeks of the season, and they weren't even in the contention for the division come week 18 last year. It's a complete mess. It's a complete mess. None of these teams I think are actually good. They're all very flawed. I think if any of these teams were in another division, I could take the under easily on all of them. They'd probably go at best 5-12, maybe 6-11. But here we go. Panthers, I'm going to take the over at 7.5. Again, if they were in another division, I would easily take the under. In this division, I think they will win enough games to win the division. Look, I'm not a Bryce Young guy. I never have been. I've been very outspoken about that. He was a little better last year. He's gotten a little bit better. But for probably 70% of his career, he's been very bad. Last year, he was inconsistent. Let's go back to his rookie year. It was obviously a disaster. His second year, first 2 games, he was horrible. Gets benched for Andy Dalton for a few weeks and ends up getting back out there and plays well down the stretch last year. Started off really bad, was much better second half of the year. Had some games where he was not very good, had some games where he was very good. Played very well in that playoff game in the loss to the Rams, so we don't know what we're going to be getting out of him, but he's still young. This is year 4 for him. To me, he's probably under the most pressure of any quarterback in the league because he has not gotten paid. He has not won a playoff game. He has not proven to be even a above average starter consistently in this league. So with Bryce Young, he has to go out there and prove that he is a franchise quarterback. Otherwise, Carolina's probably going to be looking for a new quarterback next year. I think this team did some nice things in the offseason. You do lose Chuba Hubbard, Rico Dowdle, who had a very good year last year, but Chuba Hubbard has been a very productive backup for these last couple of years. Was good last year, was great the year before when he had the full workload. Ted McMillan was rookie of the year last year. I think he's a true number one wide receiver. Coker, another guy who's gotten better every year. I think he's a true number two wide receiver in the NFL. Other than that, much what the receiving core looks like. I think he'll be fine. You take Chris Brazzell in the middle round, I think he could be a solid receiver. You brought in John Mechie for depth. He's a fine depth piece. I mean, the tight ends aren't great with Tommy Tremble and Jatavion Sanders leading the way, but they should have a good offensive line. Yeah, I don't love Ike Ekwonu playing left tackle. I'd rather him play guard. But Damian Lewis is good. Robert Hunt's very good. You bring Luke Fortin to play center to replace Cade Mays. Tim Bone, if he's assuming he's healthy, is a very good right tackle. You draft Monroe Freeling in the first round. Freeling is still raw, but will be a very good tackle eventually for sure. You still have Brady Christensen there, who isn't great, but as a depth piece is better than a lot of our backup offensive linemen. I think they'll be fine on the offensive line. This should be a very good defense. They're very good a year ago. You paid a lot of money to get Joeen Phillips. A lot of money for a guy who I don't think has a 10 sack season under his belt, but and has had a lot of injury concerns. But he was very good the second half of the year last year for Philadelphia after getting dealt. So that's definitely a high risk, high reward move. I think he will perform this year for the Carolina Panthers. Drafted Nick Scorton a year ago, a kid I like. In the middle, Derek Brown's a beast with Tershawn Wharton and Bobby Brown III. You drafted Lee Hunter. That should be a very good team against the run. I said before, Devin Lowe is one of my favorite signs of the entire free agency period. Very good, complete linebacker at a career last year in Jacksonville. Secondary, J.C. Horman has cleared up a lot of his health concerns and has played very well these last couple of seasons. You had Trevor Mooring at safety. He's pretty good. Nick Scott's pretty good. So that secondary should be decent. Dave Canales is definitely under some pressure for this team to take a next step. Otherwise, he's after 3 years, we don't have a playoff win. They could move on. So there's definitely a lot of pressure on Carolina. I don't know if Bryce Young or Dave Canales or Amy are going to prove that they're really true building blocks that should be there for a long time. This is a very interesting year for the Carolina Panthers, but I think they will do enough to win the NFC South because the rest of the division isn't good. Second place in the division, I have the Buccaneers. I think they will be under the 8.5 wins that they are set at. That's their over under 8.5. I just look at this team and say, I've said this before, definitely I've said it off camera. They are the Pittsburgh Steelers of the NFC. They are not good enough to truly contend and win, for the most part, even a single playoff game. Certainly not multiple playoff games in the season. But they're not bad enough to where they're, going 4-13 and they can have a high draft pick so they can, draft a game changer, maybe draft a quarterback. No, Baker Mayfield isn't a slouch. But still, they're going 7-10, 8-9. You're bad, but you're not bad enough to really rebuild, and you're not good enough going 9-8, 10-7, just lipping out the division even when you do so to you be a legit contender. Baker Mayfield's a good quarterback. Obviously, he's remade himself in Tampa. He's not great, but he's good. The team should have a good running game with Bucky Irving, who was hurt a lot last year, but when healthy, he's a very good young running back. Kenny Gainwell, they bring in. He had a good year last year in Pittsburgh. You have a talented receiving core. You do lose Mike Evans, which is a big loss. One of the greatest Bucks ever. Future Hall of Famer. Emeka Ibuka was hurt a bit last year, but when healthy was very good. Chris Godwin, again, he's hurt a lot, older player, but when healthy is very good. I do think Tez Johnson can bring some value as a slot guy. Now, I think he actually weighs less than me, which is impressive, but he does have some talent. Shane McMillan's pretty good. Kid out the serviceable tight end. If the offensive line is healthy, they can be very good. Christian Murphy is an all-pro. Cody Malk is very good. Graham Barnes is a very good center. The line had so many injuries last year. If they can be healthy this year, that's a very good offensive line. Defensively, I'm a little concerned. Todd yes, he's a good defensive mind. Also, a horrific head coach. I'm not sure where he still has a job. And there are some pieces of his defense that I like. Vita Vea is a very underrated D tackle. He's very good. You have him, you have Clyde Canty, H.L. Robinson. This team's going to be very hard to run on as per usual. You drafted Ruben Bain, 15th overall. I thought that was a great pick. I think Ruben Bain will be a really good player in this league. Linebacker, you have Alex Anzalone is pretty good. You take a flyer on Josiah Trotter. Secondary, Anton Winfield's a top five safety easily in football. But other than that, you're relying on a lot of younger guys like Christian Rosenboom and Yaya Diaby and Zion McCollum. I don't think this defense is going to be very good. They'll stop the run really well, but I'm not sure how good their pass rush will be, and I do not expect them to perform very well against the pass. And just, I think they have a clear ceiling. They're being held back by a very poor head coach. I'm tired of bashing Todd Bowles. I've seen this movie before many times. I'm not sure if, how healthy they're even going to be. I think they're in for this team is also an older team, and I think they're going to continue to decline, much should get Todd Bowles fired. In third place, I have the Saints. I have them going under 7.5. I wanted to really when I was doing this exercise and preparing to do this segment, I wanted to say, yeah, the Saints are going to be one of the more surprising teams in the league this year. They're going to take a step forward. They're going to win 9 or 10 games. They're going to have a shot to win this division. But I wasn't able to get there personally. I know a lot of people have been, and more credit to them. But I'm still not sold on Tyler Shuck. He played some very solid football down the stretch last year. I wasn't high on him coming out. I'm still not sold on him. I need to see him do it for a full year before I really commit towards him. He absolutely earned to be the no doubt starter going into the year, especially when the other league quarterback in the roster are Spencer Rattler, who is maybe a second stringer in the NFL. Zach Wilson's one of the biggest busts in league history, and the like I see him still in the league, and Hunter Deckers, who I've never heard of. But you did a couple nice things in the offseason. I don't really think it's the best idea roster building wise to pay ETN 14 million a year while still having a 31-year-old Alvin Kamara on your roster. But they did restructure Kamara's deal to ensure he'll be a part of the roster. I think Kamara can sell into this running back 2 role behind HM and be a true, just solely pass catching back. And HM will be the 3 down back. I think that will be very effective. Olave in his first full year healthy last year was very good. You draft Jordan Tyson. It was a risky pick in the top 10 because of his health issues coming out of college. But if he's healthy, he's got the talent to be very good. You take Bryce Lance in the 4th round, Trey Lance's brother. I think he has some talent. I think Bob Means is a solid depth piece. You have a couple of solid depth receivers like him, Devon Vell. Juwan Johnson's a solid tight end. You take Oscar Delp in the middle round. I think he could be a decent tight end out of Georgia. O-line should be good. It's very young with Calvin Banks and Therese Fuaga, both for recent first-round picks. As he was a first-rounder a couple of years ago, so was Eric McCoy. So they've invested a lot of draft capital into this offensive line. You signed David Edwards, who's a solid guard, comes over from Buffalo. You have Dylan Randon as a backup guard. Again, he's not a very good offensive lineman, but as a backup, you could do a lot worse. Defensively, not sure what this is going to look like. You bring back Cameron Jordan, who's old but still a good player, had 10.5 sacks last year, but just you haven't gotten much out of Brian Brees since you took him in the first round. And in the middle, Devon Gauchow's fine. Christian Miller's fine. But other than that, there is not a whole lot that I like. Your linebackers. Caden Ellis is solid, but he's older. Chase Young's turned himself into a good player, but still not the guy that was the top 2 pick a few years ago by Washington. Quid McKinstry, awesome name, not the best football player. I think they're going to miss Alontae Taylor a lot this year in that secondary. They're going to miss Demario Davis in the middle, but I know he's old, but he's still a very good player, great leader. They're going to miss him. So I don't think they're going to be very good defensively. I think Ken Moore did a pretty good job in year 1. but I just don't think this is going to be a great football team. And I think they will be in third place in the worst division of football. And then last place out the Atlanta Falcons. Taking the under on the Falcons at 6.5 was honestly pretty easy. It probably shouldn't be because there is some legit talent on this team. But just when you already do a deep dive, they're a mess. Offensively, Tua just should not be in the league anymore. He's had too many concussions, too many injuries. Get him off an NFL roster. Michael Penix, I tried to defend this guy coming out. I thought he had some talent, but the guy's body is just not just meant for a full season. I don't think left-handed quarterbacks can even survive in the NFL just at this stage anymore. I think Trevor Siemian, who is their number three quarterback right now, is going to see time before the end of the year. Both guys are not going to be healthy. I think there's a chance Michael Penix isn't even on the roster day one. I don't think it's likely, but I think there's a chance. And look, Bijan Robinson is the best back in football. Strickland is an elite receiver. I like them taking Zachariah Branch on day two. I think he'll be a good receiver. And Jalen Dotson's a fine depth peak. I like Zacchaeus. He's pretty good. Pitts had a great year last year. He gets his bag, but this offensive line, I don't think it's going to be great. It's certainly not going to be good enough to protect, you know, an injury-prone quarterback in Tua or Michael Penix, two most injury-prone quarterbacks in the league, are on the same team. That's bizarre. Like Matthew Bergeron's a decent young lineman. Chris Lynch's a very good right guard. You bring in Jawan Taylor after his not so good tenure in Kansas City. It's a very young offensive line that I think is going to struggle. And defensively, I don't know how good they're going to be. You took Jalen Walker a year ago. He wasn't very productive as a rookie. We'll see how he does in year two. And there's a couple of guys I like. I mean, James Pierce had a great rookie year, but the guy's in so much legal trouble. What's going to happen with him? Christian Harris is a fine linebacker. So is Divine Diablo. I like some pieces in the second. I think Terrell's still a great corner. Their safety, Jesse Bates is really good. Xavier Watts is okay. But I don't think this is overall going to be a great defense. And this is a very flawed team. It's not going to get very good quarterback play. They're wasting Bijan Robinson's career. I think they're in for a messy year. I like Kevin Stefanski as a coach. I do think he's a solid coach. I think he was being held back by disastrous Cleveland Browns organization. I think he could eventually see some more success, at least in the postseason with the Atlanta Falcons. He comes in as the head coach, but this year I think it's going to be rough for the Atlanta Falcons. I think there's a chance they're picking the top five come 2027 NFL draft. All right, that's all I got for you guys today. Till next time, so long and have a great day.